Okay, first I'm going to go in with my ColourPop No Filter Concealer in the lightest shade, no surprise there. I'm just going to place that on my lids. And the goal of this is to give us a good base for our shadows and also conceal any hyperpigmentation or veins that you may have on your eyelids. And it will make the pigments in our shadows appear a lot brighter. So it's a neat little trick. So you just want to pat that all over the lid from the bottom of the brow bone to the lash line. Everywhere you're going to apply your shadow, make sure you get the inner corner. I went a little heavy-handed on that one side, didn't do quite as much on the other, but it's okay. And you're just gonna pat that all in. This concealer, y'all, is super inexpensive. It's maybe $8, and it's fabulous. I look crazy, I know. I'm just gonna keep patting. Apparently I did this for a while, but you gotta make sure it's seamless. Here we go. Next, I'm taking a fluffy brush with some loose setting powder on it, and I'm just dabbing that over the eye to set the concealer, keep it from creasing, and it's going to allow for smoother deposit of our shadows. And this is the star of the show. This is the Dream Street palette. It is a collaboration between Kathleen Lights and ColourPop. Kathleen Lights is a very, very talented creator here on YouTube, does a lot of beautiful makeup, and it just has a wonderful personality both on and off the camera, as I'm told. I'm taking the red shade in the palette called Spark, and I'm just depositing that in my crease. Just a little bit of color at a time, building it up. I'm taking it from the inner corner to the outer corner, just winging it out. And again, you don't want to go in right away with a whole lot of pigment. You want to build it up as you go. And just wing it out to the brow bone, or outer brow. Can't talk today, y'all. It's been a day. Next, I'm going in with a more dense Morphe brush, and this is to build up that color. The more dense your brush is, the more pigment you can grab with it. So I'm just using that to further define the crease and build up that color. And you just want to follow the line you sketched out in the beginning. And this kind of look we're doing is called a cut crease, for those of you who do not know. And it sounds a little violent, like you're cutting the crease, but what that simply means is you're making a strong distinction between the crease shade and the lid shade. And you'll see in just a minute how we do that. But you want to, again, build up that color from inner corner to outer corner. It looks a little crazy right now, but you'll see where we're going with it. Just following that initial sketch that you did in the beginning. You can build it up as much or as little as you want. Cut crease looks are good for people with hooded eyes or deep set eyes. What it does is give the illusion of more lid space. I obviously don't have that problem with lid space, but it's still a flattering look on everybody. So again, just building that up. And you know, while it looks intimidating, I chose bright colors today, but you can do an everyday kind of cut crease with neutral colors. It doesn't have to be, you know, full-on pigment and glitter and unicorns and rainbows. It can be, you know, just a nice neutral cut crease for everyday wear. Taking a little bit of concealer, just cleaning up that wing right there. And just building up a little bit more color on the outside. I don't know why I chose to do that, but whatever. I guess I got shadow happy on that side. And just really defining that inner corner. Just taking a little bit more concealer and cleaning up both the top and the bottom of that side because I messed up. Next, this is where we cut the crease. Oh no, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. This is, sorry about that. I am taking the transition shade in the palette, which is the lighter brownish orangish shade called Magical, and I'm using that to kind of blend out the crease a little bit, just to diffuse it some, make it look a little less harsh. And you want to, anytime you do this, you want to do it with the most neutral color in the palette and the lightest shade, just to, you know, make it look more seamless. Sort of how you would blend out a smoky eye with your transition shade. It's the same thing. Just make it look a little less harsh. Now is where we cut the crease. So I am taking my concealer, the same concealer we used to cover the eye, the ColourPop concealer, taking a little bit of that on my hand, and then I'm using my BH Cosmetics. I don't know the number because I got it in a set, but we are slowly going to carve out the lid. This is the hard part. Now, this takes practice, and I'm far from perfect at it, but you want to go from the very inner corner and slowly, slowly cut out the crease, following that pigment that you have in the crease. Carve out the lid, rather. And you just want to smooth out that concealer, and you want to take it all the way from the inner corner to outer corner. Again, this just makes the eyelid pop a little bit more, and you'll start to see it come together. And you want to make the concealer fairly opaque because this is going to enhance the shade that we put on the lid. So make sure you hit the inner corner again. And the outer corner. And to just follow the natural, that was a weird, something happened there. Follow the natural contour of your eye. I don't think I breathed the whole time I did this. I think I held my breath the whole time. It's nerve-wracking, I'm not gonna lie, but they're really fun to do once you get the hang of it. And just did the same thing with the other eye. One eye is always easier than the other. And you can use your finger too to help smooth it out, but you want to be careful you don't mess up your crease work. My neck hurts so bad after this, y'all, I swear. I look crazy, I know. Next, I am taking a shimmer shade, two of the shimmer shades in this palette. That first shade was the shade Twinkle. It's a really pretty bronzy color. And then I'm also taking the shade Sweet Dreams. I did kind of a mixture of the two. Sweet Dreams is a little bit lighter and more cool toned, but I mixed the two of those, and I'm just pressing that on the lid. And you can see, since we laid down that concealer, it just really makes that, ready for it, ColourPop. Oh, you're so funny. So I'm just placing that all over the lid, and I'm also taking a flat shader brush from Morphe just to get the inner corner and also to get the outer corner, because it's hard to do that with my finger. And you just build it up to the intensity that you want. It's all about how intense you want to make it. Do the same thing with the other eye there. Yeah, I realized the brush wasn't working for that first deposit. Your fingers are are really good tools for makeup, at least for some eyeshadow. So. And don't worry if you get some of that shimmer shade in the crease. We're gonna go back and redefine that in a little bit. And I'm apparently just building that up. Don't be shy on the lid color, folks, because that's That's where the attention's gonna go to. And just pat, 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 pat. And I just took more of that Sweet Dream shade, the lighter of the two shades, and patted on there. Next, I'm going in again with that red color, like I said, to redefine the crease after we blended some of it away. Like I said, it's easier to add color than it is to take away. So keep that in mind when you're depositing your shadows. Just gradually build it up. You can always go back and add more. All right. And just taking more. Next, I'm taking my eyeliner. This is by Maybelline. It is an awesome eyeliner. I'm going to link it down below. It's perfect for doing a wing. So what I'm doing is kind of lining up where I want the wing to start with my bottom lash line. I'll do a video on how to do winged eyeliner, but I'm simply just going to start making that wing, and then I'm going to connect it down to the lash line. Sorry for the lighting, y'all. It was giving me issues today, but and you just want to slowly drag that across the lid, making it as even as possible. If it's a little tiny, if they're not totally even, that's okay. I'm going to be applying falsies, but if I were going falsie free, I'd want it to be as precise as possible. Now on the top lash line, I take it all the way to my inner corner to define the lash line. If you have hooded eyes or deep set eyes, I recommend not doing this. I recommend keeping most of the liner towards the outer portion of the eye to elongate them, and also not to close off your eyelids. You want as much space visible on your eyelid as possible if you have deep set or hooded eyes. For me, I can get away with a little bit of it. A little bit more eyeliner on the top lid. And I'm just going to do the other eye, and it's hard to get them even. It's really hard to get them even, but again, where you want that wing to end up, you just line it up with your bottom lash line, as if your lash line were curving upwards. And again, just take it into the inner corner. I could have stopped there, but no. Did I stop there? Of course not. I kept going and I messed up. So it's going to happen, but again, we're applying falsies, so it's not going to be too noticeable. But you do want to get them as even as possible. And there are the lashes. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take that transition color that we use to blow out the crease a little bit. That's that shade called Magical. And we're just going to line the bottom lash line with that first, just to lay that down so we can add a little bit of darker color underneath. It'll just allow for easier blending. Just taking that on the outer half of the eye. I'm not bringing it in on the bottom just because it doesn't flatter my eye shape to bring eyeliner all the way in on the bottom. And then I'm taking that shade Elfish, which is the darkest brown of the palette, and I'm just going on top of that. Nothing too intense, but just enough to define the lower lash line. And just smoking that out a little bit. And you can make it as dark as you want to, but I chose not to go too intense with the color on the bottom because I wanted the attention to be kind of up top where that cut crease is. Next, I'm taking some of my Kush mascara by Milk Makeup, which is my favorite mascara of life, and I'm just applying that to the bottom lashes. Next, I am taking my Wet n Wild liquid Catsuit lipstick in Rebel Rose. I love this formula. It is maybe $5 at the drugstore, and it's awesome. It's comfortable to wear. It's not dry. It's not sticky. It doesn't make your lips look weird. And it stays on really well, and it dries down matte. It just goes on like butter. Absolutely love it. And they have such a good variety of shades too. Just getting that as even as possible, following the natural contours of my lips. Yay! Next, I'm taking my Makeup Revolution highlighter palette, and I am taking the peachy shade that we have in that palette that I would normally use on my cheeks, but I am using that as to add a little pop of shimmer to my eyelid. So I'm taking that, again, that dense Morphe brush that we used to build up the color in the crease. I'm taking that to apply that peachy tone to the lid. And that's going to even further emphasize your lid space. So my hooded eye girls and guys, I highly recommend going for a cut crease with a bold shimmer or sheen on the eyes. And just build that up as much as you want. I, of course, want to use a lot because it's me. Oops, I got some on my lashes. Oh well. I didn't mean to blind y'all with that. So next I'm going in with the more iridescent white shade of the palette, and I'm using that shade to highlight the inner corners of my eye. It's a little hard to tell on camera in the lighting, but it makes your eyes look a little bit more awake. And since my eyes are closer together, it kind of makes, makes the illusion of them being a little further apart. So that is the finished look, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. See you in my next video.